There's power in together. Don't you feel power?
Yeah!
When I came into this room this afternoon, everybody was at lunch, but I still felt the power.
Yeah!
You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah!
You come here every day, you feel it in the room. You feel it. It's real. It's what you give off. You know, you bring your stuff with you wherever you go. And people know what kind of stuff you have. Somebody walks into a room after you've been in it, they don't know your stuff. What stuff are you bringing? Bring the right stuff. Bring the stuff, actually, I wouldn't even say right. Bring the stuff that's you.
And that's the right stuff.
There you go! I'm telling you, I'm so grateful to be in a place where we're being taught by these geniuses. And they're geniuses. They are doing the work of our lives. I know that's true. I know that's true. I know Bernie teaches that we, as actors, we're doctors. Do you believe? Okay, you looked at me like, do you believe that?
Yes!
We are doctors. We're doctors. People come to see us and to experience us because they want to feel better. Isn't that what you do to go to the doctor to do?
Yes!
Yeah.
When you're feeling like, go to the doctor. We're doctors. It's a great privilege. And it's a great privilege to be in a place and to be taught this. In a moment, things can change. I was born. Son of a sharecropper down in... No, I wasn't. I was born in what I like to call South America, the state of Alabama. And as we like to say down there, so far south, you can't go any further south without swimming. Right on the Gulf Coast. And my grandfather, I came from a big family. I'm number 8 of 8. So this is what my Christmases looks like all the time, except bigger. My mother came from a family, she was number 3 of 13. So, and my grandfather was a pastor of a church in the South. Yeah! Come on, girl. She seems to know something about this. But yes, we all gathered together. That's one thing I was so grateful for. I grew up in a family where togetherness was not just what you did, it was who you are. It was who you were. There were, I still think, okay, there's mine and then there's ours. But I learned the most important thing growing up in that little tiny town with my grandfather and all of his pronouncements coming over the... Yes, he knows exactly what you from a Baptist church. Your granddaddy a preacher too?
My dad.
Okay, I may have to come up here and help me. Yeah! Somebody say yeah! Yeah! I know a story. You don't have to repeat all that now. I'm going to take it from here. But we're all involved in this, so thank you.
Thank you.
There you go, yes! Oh my grandfather marched with Martin Luther King. He was also, as you probably have heard, a Baptist preacher from Alabama.
Yeah.
And so during that whole time, 60s or 50s, the civil rights movement, you guys heard of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Civil rights movement here was the thing. If you were living in that part of the world during that time, you were a part of the civil rights movement every day of your life, whether you wanted to be or not. And the thing that I know that sustained us all was having the time to come together like this. And realizing that, again, change was not something that was optional. Change was a necessity. It was what you had to have happen if you were going to live. I remember my mom and dad and my grandfather and all my aunts and uncles getting together and organizing over the kitchen table. Well, what are we going to do? It's always about changing. We can't sit on the front of the bus. We should be able to sit wherever we want to. We got to change this. Our kids are not learning in school. Not only that, they're in great danger. This has to change. Not maybe gonna change, not needs to change. This has to change. And I grew up looking at those people and feeling and being a part of that. Again, remember I said, when you go into a room after somebody, you feel their stuff. I felt that stuff when I went into the dining room after they had those meetings. I felt it when I was upstairs listening to those meetings. The power of getting together and saying, let's change. Not only do you have to have the strength, the courage to make a change, you got to put work to it. And all the work and all the planning that you do, the other thing you have to do is just believe it. I remember April said to us, I'll never forget it, she said, faith is knowing that things will happen. Say that with me. Faith is knowing that things will happen. Yes!
Yeah.
And there's an old saying that the Amish have, pray, but move your feet.
Yeah.
And also a part of my personal history, and actually I can say because we're all connected, it's part of everyone's personal history. There was a time for a very long period of time that it was deemed okay, perfectly okay, because it was profitable to sell other people, to use other people as objects. Most of the time there were people who looked like me. But that affects everybody. There was a young man who was born in the early 1700s. Fairly ordinary. He got pressed into service for the Navy. You know what being pressed into service means?
No.
Stand there. You're now in the Navy, boy. That's being pressed into service. Sailing was so horrible a profession and so horrible an actual thing to do that people had to literally steal people to man the ships that they had going out to get all kinds of everything. Spices, human beings, all kinds of things. There was a young man who was pressed into service and found himself for several years working his way up on this slave ship and in the slave trade. He made tons of money. Tons of money. I'm also reminded of something that these guys taught us, which is being open. Always have to be open. Be open and aware. This young man was on this ship with one of his cargoes full to the belly, headed to make lots of money, and oh, he hit a storm. They hit a horrible storm. Now, this is someone who's been in first the Navy, then in the slave trade, so he's used to choppy waters. But this one, he was so sure that he wasn't going to make it, that he took a moment. First, it was an interesting thing he did. Took a moment to go down below and just look at the people. mention that's one of the first time he ever thought, look at the people. It was so horrible, this storm. He said, I'm going to do something before I die. And in that moment, taking a moment, pausing, he found the strength, he found the magic, he found the power, he found the creativity, he found the divinity in him to write down